welcome back to the Shoogly shed. I am Ewan. Today we are going to make a start on the GS500 forks that I have. Let's take a look at these absolute basket cases. Dun dun dun! So these, as you can see, are in dreadful condition. Tell you what, let's get them out into the light and I can show you just how bad these actually are. Alright, we're out in the patio. First thing to notice, one of them's shorter than the other. Why is that, you may ask? Well, boop, it has no internals. I can compress that, so it's got no spring or anything in it. The other side does compress, which is confidence inspiring. Hopefully it means that there are internals in this one. It's also been terribly painted red at some point. So basically these will need completely stripped and then refurbed. Well, I need to strip them before I can even figure out if they're savable. They're in pretty poor condition right now. So let's have a wee go at stripping them down and taking stock. Proper cold today, and a decent amount of snowfall as well. So I did eventually get these forks stripped down. This one came apart totally fine. This one was a real bugger. The top cap was totally rounded and seized, and even like gripping it in the vise I couldn't undo it. Then I noticed that the stanchion was totally bananaed, like totally bent. So I made the call that these forks were basically goners. There was no way I was going to be able to save them, and it'd be cheaper and quicker just looking to replace them essentially. So I ended up actually cutting the stanchion with a hacksaw just in order to get this one apart. So I had the lowers at least stripped. Now I have these, which are a set from GS500F, the fairinged version of the GS500. These much better condition. I got them for about 40 quid, complete set, and we've just stripped them down. Stanchions are nice and straight and a lot better, the chrome's in a lot better condition. So I think basically I'm just going to walk away from this set of forks. There's so much work needing done to these, and even then I don't think they'll be particularly good. And I'm going to continue on this set. So the first job with these lowers is to remove these tabs. On the bike they held on reflectors. I don't know why you'd have a specific tab on the fork just to hold a reflector, but there you go, they did. So I'd quite like to just remove this, I won't need it. That one's for holding the brake hose in place. This one is completely redundant, so there's one on each lower. I'm just basically going to cut it off and file it down and smooth it off before I get these powder coated. Alright, after about 10 minutes of filing and a wee bit of sanding, that's pretty smooth. It's pretty much in the same profile as the rest of the fork. So that's a success. One more to do. And it's number 2 done as well. Totally smooth. So once these get sandblasted and powder coated, the next job really is to reassemble. Just for that. So, fork lowers are back from the powder coaters. Let's have a look at them. Yeah, looking nice. Good finish. The bit that we cut off, you could never tell it was ever there. So happy with them. Now just to throw them back together with new oil and new seals. Okay, I've got my bag of internals, I've got the stanchion, I've got the lower, I've got new seals, and I have gaiters and my trusty Haynes manual for reference. Let's get on with it then. So first on is the internals into the stanchion, then the stanchion into the lower. Okay, fork seal is in. It's nice and flush in there now. The last thing is these come with a little dust seal to go on. It's not hugely important because I'm putting gaiters on anyway, but belt and braces, right? This is actually a rubber lubricant grease that comes with these, which is pretty handy to have. Otherwise you can just use fork oil to lubricate the stanchion. This makes it a bit more pro. I almost forgot to put the circlip in. Oops. Circlip goes in just to keep the seal in place. It goes in there as a wee groove on the inside. It's quite simple. It's also worth noting, if your circlip doesn't go in, or it won't go into the groove, there's a good chance your seal isn't properly seated. So that's another wee indication that you've done the job properly, is if your circlip goes in nice and easily. So lastly, dust seal on. It should just push into place like that. It says it's 380 mils of oil into this fork. Now the oil's in, it's a good idea just to give the fork a wee pump up and down just to distribute the oil everywhere. The last thing that goes in is the spring, this little washer, and then there's a spacer that sits on top before the top cap goes in. I'm not going to film the next bit, which is putting the top cap on, because it's a pain in the ass and I will probably swear. You have to kind of compress the spring quite a lot to get it in, so you don't need to see that. So the top cap is most of the way on now. Just need to finish it off. Alrighty, that's the fork back together. Looking pretty good if I do say so myself. Lovely powder coat job, fresh seals and fresh oil. They should go for many, many more miles. Just got the other one to do now. And then we are done on the forks. Hallelujah. Well, I hope you agree that, as with a lot of things on this bike, it has come from absolute mess of a part to something ready to go back on the bike looking factory fresh. So, pretty pleased with that. That's pretty much my goal with this bike, is to try and restore all the parts to looking absolutely brand new, or at least as close to as I can, and then obviously my own customisations. I need to do the other fork obviously, and then that's them done. I got a bunch of other parts powder coated at the same time. I've got the top yokes, the turf triple tree and the top yoke all done, so they'll look really shiny and lovely. They'll go on the bike as well, and then the frame is also getting powder coated, and wait till you see it, it looks amazing. Anyway, I'll see you next time, and as usual, give me a like, leave me a comment, and make sure you subscribe to the Shoogly Shed channel, and I will see you in the next video, hopefully.